passe continue. Midnight groove si mais tout partout en la terre. Bells comme bon jouer. Liquid Ice aussi combien d'autres orchestres qui a joué. Nous pas laisser ça tomber. Nous qu'à jamais ça fort, fort. Écoutez, Kadas musique c'est plus belle musique. Woy yo yo. Kadas musique c'est musique à nous. Woy yo yo yo. Kadas musique c'est musique Dominique. Woy yo yo. Kadas musique c'est plus belle musique. Woy yo yo. Kadas musique c'est musique à nous. Woy yo yo. Trinidad the Calypso, Jamaica ni reggae. Dominic Sanouni, c'est Kadas slip so fun nous chez de musique la viva. Nous ka mener ça monter nous pas ka faire descendre. Sans samedi, Kadas musique c'est plus belle musique. Oh yo yo. Kadas musique c'est musique Dominique. Oh yo yo yo. Kadas musique c'est musique à nous. Oh yo yo. Kadas musique c'est plus belle musique. Oh yo yo. Kadas Kadas, nous pas calagé, nous pas calagé. Kadas, ça c'est première musique Dominique. Après ça nous caille Marseille avec Méné Mouté. Chobi, Ko.
Your nation station, DBS Radio.
Baby Kadas already know. When like a chanté, mon ka conseillé, et mon pas calé. Tiens mon te parler, mon te critiquer, chanter mon ka chanter, mon pas calé. Kadas n'est que pour consoler, il n'est que pour secouer, et les Kadas cachés, c'est l'amour qu'a mon placé. C'est bon, il bon. Kadas n'est que pour consoler, c'est bon, il bon. Il n'est que pour secouer, c'est bon, il bon. Kadas n'est nous désolé, c'est bon, il bon. Kadas n'est que pour consoler. Et bien contribution, moi j'ai motivé, dizaine de les montées réflexion, on va gagner, travail pour la qualité, les Kadas. Kadas n'est que pour consoler, il n'est que pour secouer, et les Kadas cachés, c'est l'amour qu'a menacé. C'est bon, il bon. Kadas n'est que pour consoler, c'est bon, il bon. Il n'est que pour secouer, c'est bon, il bon. Kadas n'est nous désolé, c'est bon, il bon. Kadas n'est que pour consoler. Johnny voulait me garder, je caresse la qualité, ça garde mon plaisir, pour continuer. Mais il t'a vu me il comptait fort, on en a fait pour les Kadas. Kadas n'est que pour consoler, il n'est que pour secouer, et les Kadas.
It's always a better choice. My one and only station.
DBS Radio.
Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, weather forecasters predict an active hurricane season In the news from the region, Jamaica's Prime Minister says historic low poverty rate is a result of strategic government policies. Internationally, the Donald Trump administration has moved to end Harvard's ability to enroll international students, escalating a row with America's oldest university. The details of these stories and more coming up next.
Too often, customers are counted but not valued, like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're prioritizing you, our valued customers who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim up to $400 in rewards for smartphones, groceries, and more when you add mobile to your current internet plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
DBS News.
And welcome back. Weather forecasters are predicting an active hurricane season. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, predicts that there will be at least 13 to 19 named storms with 6 to 10 hurricanes. Leila Langford was amongst Caribbean broadcasters who discussed the hurricane season in Grenada today and filed this report.
Climatologist Cedric Van Merbeck from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology provided insights for the upcoming season.
In terms of the hurricanes, what we expect depends on two things. One is predictable, and that is how hot the sea is. Given how hot the seas around the Caribbean are, we predict that the season would be at least as active as was normal in the past. So that means at least about 14 storms, of which 7 would become hurricanes and 3 would become major hurricanes. But in fact, we do have a little bit better predictability this time around than in some other years. We expect that the range of the number of storms and hurricanes will likely be at least the average, but could be as high as about 18, 19 storms, about 10 hurricanes, and up to about 4 or 5 major hurricanes in the worst case.
Climatologist Cedric Van Merbeck from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology. He further noted concerns regarding the presence of Saharan dust in the atmosphere, which could significantly impact the hurricane season. It is said that this could result in either a less active or a highly active period. Additionally, there is a possibility of extreme rainfall, which could lead to severe flooding across the Caribbean region, including Dominica. Met Officer Bernie Masley Honoré from the Dominica Met Service, who was present at the Regional Climate Outlook Forum, stated that following this forum, a national forecast for Dominica will be presented on June 11.
So our purpose today was to present the wet season Atlantic hurricane season forecast, which were prepared by the meteorologists and climatologists from across the region and the staff from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology in terms of the Atlantic hurricane season forecast. So the forecast was presented today, and the stakeholders got a chance to think about how that forecast would affect their actions going forward into the hurricane season in terms of what the impacts could possibly be on the sectors. In terms of Dominica's forecast, the Dominica Meteorological Service will be presenting its forecast on June 11th when we host the National Climate Outlook Forum at the Office of Disaster Management with our own local sector representatives.
And that was Met Officer Bernie Masley Honoré. Leila Langford reporting from St. George's, Grenada for DBS News.
And a special thanks to Leila Langford for that excellent report. Access to credit for the people of the Kalinago territory has been made easier following the launch of the Aid Bank's consistent presence in the Kalinago Territories program. Under this program, staff from the Aid Bank will be physically present in the Kalinago territory to facilitate access to the Kalinago Development Fund and the Aid Bank Special Student Loan Facility. Acting General Manager of the Aid Bank is Mathilda John Rose.
We are here to bring to you, in particular, 2 loan facilities which were specifically tailored for you, the people of the Kalinago territory. We are aware that it has been a challenge commuting to town to access financing. We have given consideration to your challenges and are prepared to make access to credit easier for you. So commencing next week, May 27th and May 29th, and every Tuesday and Thursday thereafter, the 8 Banks team will be at the Sensi Resource Center from 8:30 to 4 p.m. You will be able to thoroughly discuss your loan requests. We will walk you through the completion of the loan application form. We will discuss with you the necessary documentation, and you will execute the loan documents, all at the Sensi Center. So if you have any questions, we will be ready to answer your questions for you. If you have an idea and you figure you need further assistance, you just want to talk, we are here. Every Tuesday and Thursday, 8:30 to 4 p.m., we will be with you to give you undivided attention. So we are here now to introduce specifically 2 facilities for you. But when we are at the center, it is not only for the 2 facilities. We are there for anything you want.
Acting General Manager of the Aid Bank, Mathilda John Rose. Minister for Kalinago Affairs and MP for the Salibia constituency, Kozia Frederick, called on the people of the Kalinago territory to take advantage of the opportunities being presented to them.
Just doing the research, I realized that Aid Bank has helped in a number of areas for a number of years. We talk about housing, infrastructure, agricultural loans, student loans, and all of those things that have been happening for years. But what I also realize is that the Kalinago territory have always been part of it, has always been part of it. So it means that this meeting here is so important because we in the Kalinago territory also have to do more for ourselves. And we have to assert ourselves. And that's why when we had the conversation with the manager, we think it'd be really, really good to have the Aid Bank in that space. So there's no excuse that we have to pay boss, we go down there, the appointment don't work. I brought 1 paper today, I had to come back up for another paper. And there's this story too, where manager had to help us with, because I hear too many reports on the Aid Bank, that the Aid Bank itself is not diligent enough. The Aid Bank is a development bank, and it has to help to shape the lives of people and make their lives better. So if I go down there as a little Kalinago guy, Kozia Frederick from Salibia, and I have an appointment with a loans officer, and when I come with my ID and a salary slip, I have to come back next week with something else. This is not good enough. So while you're here, I take the opportunity to admonish every one of us, because we have a responsibility to provide the services to people, but also our right to access to finance, our right to have all of those is always on us.
Minister for Kalinago Affairs and MP for the Salibia constituency, Kozia Frederick. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says the United States has been a dedicated partner to Dominica's national security efforts. This comes as the United States has funded 3 newly constructed disaster management facilities in Dominica, namely 2 emergency operations centers and disaster relief warehouses in Portsmouth and Castle Bruce, and an administrative annex building in Jimmet. The buildings are valued at US $3 million.
We deeply appreciate the continued support of the United States government, particularly in areas such as infrastructure, capacity building, and disaster preparedness and national security. And I dare say we cannot write the history of national security in Dominica and not have several paragraphs and several pages assigned to the United States of America. Without you, the Caribbean would not be as safe as it is today. And do not ever underestimate your contribution to our national security and regional security. The United States has always been a dedicated partner where security is concerned, and we thank you for that, Ms. Professor. As a small island developing state, Dominica has boldly set the sights on an ambitious yet necessary goal to become the first climate resilient nation in the world. This is no small task. The climate-related shocks we face are not only increasing in frequency, but also growing in intensity. For us, resilience is not a buzzword, it is a lifeline, and we cannot achieve it alone. It is in this context that we express our deep gratitude to the United States of America and through the Southern Command, whose commitment to Dominica's security, emergency preparedness, and institutional development has been unwavering.
Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. Karen Sullivan is the Chargé d'Affaires of the United States Embassy to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean.
The government of Dominica, including the Dominica Office of Disaster Management, are integral partners for the United States, and this joint project underscores that incredible relationship. U.S. Southern Command's investment of about $3 million to complete these projects showcases the value we place on our relationship with Dominica and the Eastern Caribbean. I remember the devastation that Hurricane Maria brought to Dominica in 2017 as I worked on the State Department's task force. And I also see that you are still recovering from that disaster. The devastating effects of Caribbean natural disasters such as hurricanes, floods, and volcanic activity, as well as other seismic events, affect the United States due to our shared culture and intertwined economies. This emphasizes the need for continued cooperation, sustained collaboration, and an understanding that we must confront our shared challenges together.
Chargé d'Affaires of the United States Embassy to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Karen Sullivan. Minister for National Security, Reuben Blackmore, says the facilities will greatly help Dominica's management and response to public hazards.
Today's event, to me, should not be viewed from a one-dimensional standpoint. It's simply handing over of physical infrastructure. But it goes beyond that, and it represents a significant milestone in the advancement of our disaster management effort. After we were struck by Hurricane Maria, the most devastating hurricane in the history of man, the Prime Minister went to the United Nations and made a bold statement: Dominica becoming the first climate resilient country of the world. That was not simply talking points, but it was serious stuff. And then we being struck by Hurricane Maria gave us the opportunity to undergo a risk management, to look at the gaps and how do we therefore fill in the gaps. And I believe that these facilities that we will be receiving from the U.S. today will help us to fill in some of those gaps insofar as our management and response to public hazards is concerned.
Minister for National Security, Reuben Blackmore. CEO of Discover Dominica Authority, Marva Williams, reinforced Dominica's commitment to sustainable growth and enhanced visitor access at the 43rd Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association Marketplace 2025 in Antigua. Williams told stakeholders at the conference that there are several major development projects which are ongoing in Dominica.
CHTA Marketplace 2025 has been a powerful platform for Dominica to showcase our tourism products and our vision. As the Caribbean's leading sustainable and green destination, we've captured the imagination of the region with innovations like the world's longest detachable cable car, a 10-megawatt geothermal plant, and our upcoming international airports. Our presence at the global marketplace reflects how far we've come and where we're going. From cultural offerings like Mass Dominic and the World Choral Music Festival to sustainable hospitality that puts community first, Dominica is setting the pace for what responsible, resilient tourism can look like in the Caribbean. This week has reaffirmed that the world is watching Dominica and they like what they see.
CEO of Discover Dominica Authority, Marva Williams. A new call to owners of illegal firearms to hand over to the police. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit told the graduation ceremony passing out a parade for 59 police recruits at the Winter Park yesterday that the police have been given a clear mandate to rid the streets and communities of illegal firearms.
I want to say to you that this matter is priority number one for us in this country to crack down illegal firearms. So if you have one, take it to the nearest police station. Please. We need to ensure that our beaches, people can go to our beaches safely, that we can walk the streets of Dominica without any fear of being shot by anyone. This is who we are as a people. And it is a responsibility of everyone, not just the police, to ensure that we rid our streets and communities of illegal firearms. So everyone, please, a word to the wise is sufficient. And so we are building a nation rooted in strong moral values, a country where families feel safe, businesses operate without fear, and visitors continue to experience warmth and security.
The Dominica leader told the police recruits that they will be expected to exercise responsibility and be ambassadors for Dominica.
As police officers, you are now protectors of the national image and champions of public safety. You must see yourselves as ambassadors of the peace and stability that drives Dominica's progress as an attractive destination for investment and opportunity. I have recognized that the police on their own cannot tackle the issue of crime. To successfully combat crime,
the community, and the police must work collaboratively. I want to encourage the Commonwealth Dominica Police Force to keep pushing forward with the community-oriented policing initiative. And you, the newest members of the force, I am asking you to really take this to heart. As you step into this new job, you are also expected to become a trusted presence in your communities. You must be someone people know and can turn to. It is about being visible, being approachable, and building real relationships with the people you serve, whether it be the guys on the block or the elderly who are especially vulnerable. When you connect with your communities, you will be in a better position to understand the issues on the ground and help find real, lasting solutions.
Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt, Chief Instructor Inspector Lyndon Timothy, told the 59 police recruits they must become committed to police officers and serve the community with respect and integrity.
Policing is not merely a profession, it is a commitment to uphold justice. Therefore, as you prepare to step into your roles as police officers, I urge you to remember the profound impact you will have on your communities. You are not just enforcers of the law, you are guardians of peace, advocates for justice, and beacons of hope. Your presence will reassure the vulnerable, deter the wrongdoers, and foster trust within the communities you are going to serve. Today, as you all stand and showcase your uniform and badges for the first time, let me inform you all that this badge is not merely a symbol of authority. It is a commitment to uphold the law with fairness and compassion. It is a promise to protect and serve, to listen and to learn, and to act with integrity even when faced with adversity. Remember, the true measure of a police officer is not in the enforcement of the law, but in the respect and the trust you earn from those you serve. As you embark on this journey, I encourage you to embrace the values of empathy and understanding. Every interaction, good or bad, that you are faced with will shape the perception of law enforcement in your community. Approach each situation with a heart and a willingness to listen. Remember that behind every call for service is a person, a mother, a father, a child who deserve your respect and compassion.
And that was the Chief Instructor Inspector Lyndon Timothy. Travis Charles of Campbell was named the best recruit with Lyndon Maxima as the first runner-up. Charles was also named the best at police duty subject. Best turned out male was Odell Robin, and best turned out female was Jacinta Ulysses. The Commissioner's Shield for Most Disciplined Student went to Hemgeest, while the Batter of Honor was awarded to the best recruit, Travis Charles. The 36 recruit training course of 59 officers was the largest in the history of the police force. This brings us to the end of this evening's National Focus. Up next is news from the region and international.
Too often, customers are counted but not valued, like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're prioritizing you, our valued customers who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim up to $400 in rewards for smartphones, groceries, and more when you add mobile to your current internet plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
DBS News.
And welcome back. Now news from the region. Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness has welcomed the recently announced drop in poverty rates, which he says is a result of targeted policies by the government validating its economic program. The Planning Institute of Jamaica on Wednesday revealed the findings that Jamaica achieved a historical low incidence of poverty in 2023 at 8.2%, just more than half or 50.8% below the 16.7% at which it stood in 2021. This is the lowest incidence of poverty since the measurement began in 1989. Internationally, the Donald Trump administration has moved to end Harvard's ability to enroll international students, escalating a standoff with America's oldest university. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem stated that the administration had revoked Harvard's students and exchange visitor program certifications as a result of their failure to adhere to the law. Harvard called the move unlawful in a statement, as the Trump administration's decisions could affect thousands of international students who study at the university. Nearly 7,000 international students were enrolled at the institution last academic year. University data shows making up 27% of its student body. This brings us to the end of this evening's news. Up next is sports.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
And welcome to your DBS Evening Sports for today, 22nd May 2025. First off, West Indies head coach Darren Sammy says his team has to do better as they look to rebound in their ODI series with Ireland. The Windies suffered a heavy 124-run defeat to Ireland on Wednesday, their worst defeat ever against the Irish team. The two teams will meet again in the second ODI on Friday. Sammy says the team looked flat with the bat and ball in the first encounter.
I mean, it's our first time back together as a group after five months, I think, from since December when we played Bangladesh. But I'm not one to make excuses. What I saw in the nets building up to this series was enough. Again, cricket is based on how you execute the plans, the things that you speak about, the things that you practice, how you go out and execute it. And I thought today we were quite timid, both with the ball and bat. Our body language, especially from my batters, they didn't look too confident. Maybe the opening bowlers for Ireland, they did challenge us with the new ball, but that's nothing we've not experienced before. So I think we were a little bit timid. I need my men to work with some more confidence and understand that they're good enough to come out and impact the game on winning. Some things we speak about, the brand that we want to play, not looking to survive. I hate to see my batsmen in survival mode. We always be, looking to score. And surviving doesn't mean just blocking it out.
That was West Indies head coach Darren Sammy. The second ODI gets underway tomorrow at 5:45 a.m. And the West Indies women's head coach Shane Dites thinks his players need to believe as they head into the second T20 against England on Friday. The Windies are trailing 1-0 in the series after losing the first match by 8 wickets. Hilly Matthews hit an unbeaten century but didn't get much support from the rest of the team. The Windies head coach says the team is looking to bounce back.
Obviously, Hayley Matthews again, stamped her authority on the game, proved once again she's, in the top couple of players in the world and an absolute superstar. She played a fantastic knock and, obviously carried the team and got us to a total, probably about 20 or 30 short what we wanted to be. And then, with the ball, we started okay. Zeta really started well. We had a little chance in the first over, and then we bowled probably too many 4 balls, and they destroyed the power play, and then we were playing catch up from there. So it was disappointing, but obviously Hardy played a great knock, and I thought supported well at the end by Mandy Mangu, and then I thought Zeta bowled really, really well today, and stepped up with the new ball as an opening bowler. So that were the positives, but we're going to regroup quickly and bounce back ready for Friday night.
West Indies women's head coach Shane Dites. The second T20 gets underway Friday afternoon at 1:35 p.m. Cyclists will have their toughest race of the season to date as the Dominica Cycling Association stages its 5th road race of the season. This weekend's race will take the cyclists from Marboyd's Bar to Portsmouth and back. President of the Dominica Cycling Association, Ronald Charles, says Sunday's race will test the cyclists' preparations for the long marathon.
And this one, we can consider it a tough one. It's going to be from Marboyd's Bar to Portsmouth, roundabout in Portsmouth, and back to Marboyd's Bar. This is one of the toughest, or it is one of the toughest races for the season. It's going to test patience, it's going to test endurance, and of course, determination. Again, all the categories will be racing. However, it is important to note that the juniors, women, and mountain bikes would have a shorter distance. That would not go beyond Collio. And therefore, all cyclists are asked to be on time on Sunday, ensure that their bikes are in tune, ensure that they have the necessary equipment, and be on time for registration. Registration is going to be early, between 7:30 and 8:15. And of course, your warm-up, ensure that you have enough time for that.
President of the Dominica Cycling Association, Ronald Charles. New president of the Dominica Tape Ball Cricket Association, Nicholas Bruno, says the new executive is embarking on a mission to make tape ball cricket as big and popular as hardball cricket. Bruno was elected recently, replacing Joel Mingo as president. Bruno says the immediate plans are to prepare for the upcoming National League.
The first thing we want is to establish tape ball in Dominica. That is the ultimate goal. That we want tape ball to have the same kind of status that the hardball cricket has in Dominica. And so we are striving towards that. We have launched our 2025 tournament. Registration is open until the 6th of June 2025. Well, this time around, we would want to have at least 10 teams in the tournament. Previous years, we have had as much as 6 teams. So we're looking to increase that to about 10 of that, 10. And this year as well, over the years, Gavin, St. Lucia have assisted us in developing our tape ball, the awareness of tape ball in Dominica. At the end of our competition, Gavin, we will want to pick a team to represent Dominica to play St. Lucia in a bilateral tape ball competition from the 24th to the 31st of July of this year.
And that was the president of the Dominica Tape Ball Cricket Association, Nicholas Bruno. Head coach of the national basketball team, Donnie Robinson, is encouraging the country to rally around the players who have made themselves available to represent Dominica at the upcoming Creole Memorial Day tournament. The competition gets underway tonight in Martinique, with Dominica taking on Martinique and Guadeloupe playing Benin. The teams will meet again on Saturday at the Massac Indoor Facility. Robinson's comments came amid of concerns of the number of senior players who didn't attend the training sessions. Robinson says while he is disappointed that a few senior players opted not to play, the situation gives the younger players a chance to step up.
One thing you don't want in a voluntary setup is to force players to attend national training just because they're senior. We get invited, they get recognized based on their performances, and as long as you have a system that reward effort and participation, if you do not attend, if the interest is not there, there's not much we can do. On the flip side of that, you're going to find that the young players that we have will obviously have a learning curve that could either be accelerated in the sense of having senior players present, or decelerated if you have too many senior players and they don't get the exposure that they deserve. So you pick one, and obviously we would like to have a proper blend of that, but if availability doesn't sustain that, there's not much you can do. I think your best bet is building a foundation of the youth and hoping that you get some enthusiastic senior players like Lester and Kaifa and those guys that have been around for a little while to come and blend with them, and commanding presence because they are senior. And then you deteriorate and slow down